I've spent around 100 hours inside the Pimax Dream Air, which is enough time for the honeymoon period to be very, very dead. When I originally reviewed this headset, there were things that immediately blew me away. A few things I didn't like, and a whole lot of durability questions I couldn't possibly answer because I'd only played with it for a short period of time. Pimax is sponsoring this follow-up review. They didn't get to dictate my conclusions or what I'm going to say, and considering I'm about to talk about the stuff I didn't like and the mods I had to make to fix it, that should become pretty obvious. I'll tell you about the discount they're offering at the end. I did my initial review back in June, then I modified the headset in July, and I haven't been able to stop playing with it since. I've put around 100 hours into it since I received it, and nearly all of that was in Star Citizen. I thought this would be the perfect time to re-review the Dream Air and see if my opinions changed, and how the headset has held up to the extended playtime. The Dream Air is the top-of-the-line headset from Pimax, and the easiest way to describe it is they took a lot of what made the Crystal Super Micro OLEDs so impressive, and then they squeezed that into the small form factor. It weighs only 170 grams, it uses Sony's Micro OLED displays at 3840 by 3552 resolution per eye, it has Pimax's new concave view pancake lenses, and it also features built-in eye tracking. Everything about this headset is premium, and it really should be for this price. The resolution is nearly 3 times the pixel count of the Quest 3 in the Steam frame, and in something like Star Citizen, the micro OLED screens produce the darkest blacks I've ever seen in a headset. I don't own an OLED monitor, so before I started using these, I thought a lot of the OLED obsession was probably marketing bullshit. Well, I don't think that anymore though. It's especially noticeable in VR where the screens are millimeters from your eyes, and the space being actually black instead of dark gray impacts my immersion more than I expected. I review a lot of VR hardware on this channel, and the Dream Air's completely spoiled me from that perspective. If I had the choice now, I would never willingly go back to a non-OLED display. There were 2 major issues though that I had with the headset, both of which I've attempted to resolve through mods. The first is that out of the box with the standard gasket, the headset had some pretty major light bleed issues. It just didn't seal well on my face. That led to other issues, like the light coming in and reflecting off the lenses. It was enough to throw off what should have been an amazing experience because in a dark scene, I'd notice it. It was like a ring or a semicircle of light around the lens. That was less than ideal, but as soon as the screens were bright enough, it disappeared. I was able to solve this by 3D printing my own facial gasket based on this model by Z Flyboy on Printables. It fits perfectly, and combined with this DIY foam kit from Studioform VRware, I was able to make this headset fit me like a glove. It is so nice to wear now that I barely need to crank down the straps. It's just comfortable. And the second problem that I had was that the field of view was less than the Crystal Super Micro OLED. With the original facial gasket, I was only getting about 96 degrees field of view, and that's just really not acceptable for a flagship headset in 2026. Pimax even offers a 144 degree field of view non-OLED Crystal Super model, and that is just incredible to wear, so coming down to this is quite a noticeable cut down. That's a big issue for me, because that headset is amazing otherwise. With the new facial gasket, my field of view jumped up to 109 degrees, so that's 13 extra degrees of horizontal field of view. I jumped about 19 degrees diagonally, and overall I got 21% more total field of view without adding any additional strain to my GPU. That image was always there, I just couldn't see it. It's a major change and a positive one. I'd love to see a widescreen version of this headset if it's possible to develop it. I did, however, do one mod that's been causing me a little bit of issues that I might end up reverting. I changed the strap from the fabric one that Pimax provided to the Apple Vision Pro's dual knit head strap. It's weighted, and that's the problem for me. It's actually heavy enough to pull the headset upward on my eyes, and eventually I'll notice I'm not in the sweet spot anymore. I don't think that you'd have this problem with literally any other headset out there because they're heavy enough that gravity wants to pull it down towards your nose, but this one is so light, it's using my head as a pivot point to go upwards. I've only noticed it when I'm, like animatedly moving my head around like I'm in a dogfight scenario trying to track an incoming fighter, or just looking around quickly for enemies. I've printed a few alternative Vision Pro adapters and I'll be trying them to see if this fixes the issue. I can't blame Pimax for that, and worst case, I'll just go back to the stock strap. One other thing that's evolved since my original review is tracking. Pimax has made a ridiculous amount of progress here. The Dream Air uses inside-out slam tracking, so the cameras on the headset are figuring out its position in the room without requiring external base stations. When When I first started using Pimax headsets last year, I had occasions where the software would lose the world position, or I'd have to fight with the tracking in the ways that were annoying, like constantly redoing the room, etc. At this point, it's been pretty rock solid for me, and now Pimax is pushing into controllerless hand tracking too. That's a much bigger deal to me than it would have been 6 months ago, because Star Citizen has talked about eventually supporting hand tracking, and suddenly I own a headset where that could come into play. I haven't been able to properly use it inside a game yet, so I'm not reviewing the feature today, but it's something I didn't know that was coming when I first reviewed the Dream Air, and now I'm really interested to see where they take it. I look at it as a bonus. Something weird did happen once during those 100 hours, and I feel like I should mention it. The headset caused my PC to shut down once while I was playing Star Citizen. Normally an instant shutdown makes me start thinking about overheating, like CPU temperatures, GPU temperatures, or power supply, but I logged that stuff and everything was within normal parameters. What made me connected to the headset was that after restarting the PC, it happened again as soon as Pimax Play initialized and connected to the Dream Air. I reproduced that a few times just to verify, and then I unplugged the headset completely from both AC power and the PC, let everything reset, and then connected again. It worked normally, and it's never happened again since, and that was more than a month ago. So I don't think it's an issue, but I wanted to bring it up because it was strange. I also have no idea what actually happened there, and I'm not going to pretend I do. It could have been the headset, the software, some kind of communication or power issue between them. I mean, who knows? I'm not an electrical engineer, and this one incident in 100 hours isn't enough for me to diagnose anything. Now, what matters for me for this review is that it happened and I was able to reproduce it at the time. A complete power cycle resolved it, and I haven't seen it again. If it starts happening repeatedly, obviously that's going to impact my opinion quite a bit. But right now, it's just one weird thing I'm keeping an eye on. The thing I was much more concerned about going into this 100-hour test was whether something this small and light was actually going to hold up when I started abusing it with seriously long sessions, because the screen generates some real heat. Pimax did a great job isolating that heat from my face. I don't feel like my forehead's cooking, and it hasn't become a comfort problem even after hours of Star Citizen. But pick the headset up after it's been running, and there's no question a lot of heat is being moved through this tiny chassis. Even after the screen's shut off, it stays warm as long as it's connected to power. So far, that hasn't translated into any real problems. There's no display issues, no heat-related instability I can identify, and nothing about the headset feels worse today because I've been running it this hard. The physical thing that I'm still watching closely is where the DisplayPort cable connects to the headset. There's a couple of places there where repeated flexing could theoretically become a failure point over time, especially where the cable exits the plastic and eventually joins at the Y-splitter. My Apple Vision Pro strap adapter has strain relief built into it, and I printed a housing for the Y-splitter as well, so I'm considerably less worried about the cable itself than I was originally. I'm still checking the connections every week or so because if something eventually develops where on my unit, that's where I expect to see it first. After 100 hours though, there's nothing. There's no cracking, no visible damage, and no connection issues. I'm still gentle with it when I put it on and take it off, but so far my durability concerns haven't turned into actual problems. Even the screens have held up pretty well too. I was wondering if as the screens age I'd see mirror or other issues like ghosting, and so far there's nothing. They're as good as the day I got them. Now the real question, 100 hours in, do I still like this headset? I like it even more than I did when I got it. I solved the biggest problems it had, I've customized it to fit me perfectly, and I even was able to eke out some extra field of view. The thing I dislike about it is I can't go back to other headsets without noticing all the compromises other companies were forced to make. I'm completely spoiled. And if watching me gush about this thing has you looking at one, you're in luck. There's a VR upgrade program where you can get an additional up to $80 off if you had a previous VR headset and switch to Pimax. The banner for the promotion is right below the Add to Cart button. You keep your old headset, they're just rewarding you for your business. Everything stacks with my code Katarn as well. I know many people are on the fence about Pimax for whatever reason, and I'm going to make it easy for you. If you purchase a headset and use my code Katarn at checkout, I will pass on any issues you might have to my contacts in order to get you escalated support. Simply join my Discord or send me an email with your order number. And thanks to Pimax for sponsoring this video.